The woman slowly slips off her robe. Beneath the black rose lies a faint scar. Her enemy's haunting smile reappears before her. Bitter hatred makes her claw her palms bloody. Watching the Chable family from afar, Lyle realizes the heir Yoonjaeon is her only path to vengeance. Years ago, Lyle's father held corporate secrets that got him persecuted by the Chables. They tortured him to death. The scar on Lyle's body was carved during their raid. After barely escaping death, she fled abroad with allies' help. The seed of vengeance took root. She plots revenge every waking moment. After seizing her father's assets, they rose to national dominance. She'll reclaim what's hers someday. Tracking the heiress to an elite school, Lyle infiltrates their circle. At her daughter's opening ceremony, she captivates the stage. A passionate tango ignites fire in Yoonjaeon's eyes. Her devilish beauty fuels Sura's jealousy. As she brushes past him post-dance, their accidental touch lingers. Yoonjaeon's composure cracks. He retrieves her dropped bracelet, following her trail deeper inside. Through the ajar door, he sees forbidden flesh. Lyle locks eyes with him boldly. Later, arm in arm with her husband. She acts oblivious. Her serene smile betrays nothing. This man helped destroy her father. Now he holds great power. While the Chable couple remains blind, they regard Lyle with new favor. Yoonjaeon studies Lyle up close, heart pounding wildly. Their hands graze the same wineglass. Her slightest movement sends ripples through him. Her mesmerizing gaze haunts his vision. Yoonjaeon tumbles into Lyle's honeyed trap. Dawn finds Sura in her mansion. Scandalous headlines erupting. Her father roars through the phone. Can't even control your husband? To please Sura, Lyle kneels to put on her shoes daily. She flatters Sura's feet each time. Her skilled subservience wins Sura's trust. Exhausted, she returns home. To her husband's demands, Lyle stops him cold. First rule of our marriage: when I say no, you obey. The cowed man slinks away. In hidden passages, Lyle descends deeper. Past horrors replay vividly. To seize corporate control, they tortured her father to death. Lyle barely survived. Her husband was their accomplice. Now she hides in their midst. Surveillance feeds show the Chables' every move. Family trees paper the walls. Their daughter's the weak link. Tracking the granddaughter's school, Lyle makes contact. Through her child, bonds form. The tango's fiery passion ignites Yoonjaeon's desire. Her sinful beauty stokes Sura's envy. Post-dance, rushing past him. Another collision, seemingly accidental yet intentional. The man could no longer restrain himself. He picked up the bracelet she deliberately dropped, following her footsteps to the back room. Through the ajar door, he saw something he shouldn't have. Lyle stared directly at him at this very moment. After the act, Lyle took her husband's arm, pretending as if nothing had happened. She calmly attended the parent-teacher meeting. Yoonjaeon observed Lyle up close, his heart pounding violently. Their hands simultaneously brushed against the wineglasses on the table. Every subtle movement she made sent ripples through the man's heart. To see Lyle again, Yoonjaeon, who never picked up his child, arrived at school unusually early. In the classroom, Lyle discussed their child's dance progress, but the man's gaze never left her for a single moment. Before leaving, Yoonjaeon produced Lyle's lost bracelet. Looking at the recovered jewelry, Lyle theatrically attempted to put it on quickly, yet her normally dexterous hands suddenly turned clumsy. Yoonjaeon stepped forward to assist, their skin making first contact. Back home, Lyle's mesmerizing gaze lingered in Yoonjaeon's mind. Consumed by desire, Yoonjaeon lost all restraint. He rushed toward his untouched wife of 5 years. Sura was desperate to conceive a son quickly. She learned secret bedroom techniques from her friend. Facing the dance partners Lyle chose for them, Sura remained unusually cold. But her Chable father-in-law had decreed, the first to bear a son inherits the company. Sister, if you want a son quickly, practice as I instruct. Finally tempted by Lyle's persuasion, the eager Sura decided to let loose. She embraced liberation. After the dance, Sura's face flushed crimson. She felt the spark of first love again. Back home, to her surprise, Yoonjaeon, who'd ignored her for 7 years, shared her bed that night. Unknown to her, his heart belonged to another. To thank Lyle, Sura took her on a luxury shopping spree across Seoul's finest boutiques. She even brought Lyle home. Thus Lyle, bearing family vengeance, entered her enemy's domain. Sura's father Han Banaro murdered Lyle's dad. Her target, Sura's husband Yoonjayam. Yoonjayam returned amidst their laughter. Sura rushed upstairs to freshen up. Alone again, Lyle seized her chance. She brushed past him in the spacious hall. Her fingers grazed his hand. When he didn't respond, she reached for the top-shelf wine glasses. Rising on tiptoes with effort, she awaited her prey's approach. Glassware chimed as she worked. Large hands reached from behind. Lyle closed her eyes tightly. Yoonjayam's resolve wavered. A sudden noise interrupted them. He released his grip abruptly. The dangerous game continued. She approached Yoonjayam slowly, inviting him to her performance, promising private time together there. Soon Yoonjayam called Lyle again. They attended a chaebol gala in finery. Lyle dazzled at the gambling table. She went all in blindly. 2 kings sealed her victory. As the night concluded, a vile man appeared, the thug, who killed Lyle's father years ago. Her family's murderer stood before her. Rage surged through Lyle's veins. She fled to control herself. Stabbing her thigh with a stick, pain restored her composure. Yoonjayam witnessed everything. He stared at Lyle in disbelief. Her meticulous plan now risked exposure. Panic gripped Lyle. Her adoptive mother raged at the blunder. If Yoonjayam grows suspicious, years of planning will be wasted. To destroy their shared enemy, she'd adopted vengeance-driven Lyle. Crafting this revenge scheme, Yoonjayam cornered Lyle, demanding her true motives. She offered no defense, knowing one way to silence men. Lyle applied a thick layer of foundation. She concealed the scar on her shoulder. She slipped into a white nightgown, silently awaiting her prey's arrival. Yoonjayam's rejection days ago still haunted her, yet Lyle saw through Yoonjayam's hesitation. He feared confronting his growing feelings. At the banquet, her plan worked. Flirting with other men provoked Yoonjayam, who stormed over without hesitation. He barged through the crowd recklessly. A card was slipped into Yoonjayam's pocket. Their next meeting was set for the day of Sura's birthday. Meanwhile, Sura was being prepped for a grand ball. After basking in admiration, she retreated to the presidential suite. Sura beamed at the exquisite gown Lyle had prepared for her, yet the house was eerily quiet on her birthday. Her husband had sneaked off to work. Only clueless servants remained, singing off-key birthday wishes. Sura's patience snapped. She craved her husband's undivided attention, not these servants' worthless affection. Arriving at Lyle's booked ballroom, Counselor Sue summoned Lyle elsewhere. Sura reluctantly let her go. When rivals heard Lyle wouldn't attend, they plotted to humiliate Sura. They cancelled all birthday events. Sura waited hours in full regalia, but no one came. Imagining Sura's humiliation, the pranksters burst out laughing. Their mockery echoed in Sura's mind. Her composure shattered completely. Double humiliation ignited Sura's rage. She hurled her shoe at the driver, demanding to see Yoonjayam immediately. The thought of Yoonjayam's devotion revived her fading confidence. Anticipating what was to come, the 50-year-old blushed slightly, but the suite was empty, her husband nowhere in sight. Unbeknownst to her, Yoonjayam approached, Lyle waiting in another room. Lyle swayed towards him, meeting Yoonjayam at the doorway. After endless disappointments, Sura finally exploded, tearfully smashing valuables. As servants fled in terror, no one dared help when she fell, staring at her ruined dress. Sura's tears flowed uncontrollably. Desperate, she called her father, seeking comfort in vain. He dismissed her as childish. Can't even handle your own birthday? Utterly useless. Pathetic. Flick. Sura assumed an aggressive stance. She cornered Lyle. She pointed a finger at Lyle, demanding proof of Yoonjayam's betrayal. The murderous glare failed to intimidate her. Her slip about Yoonjayam's secret was just the beginning. On Sura's birthday, Yoonjayam gifted Lyle a custom 5-pound diamond necklace. The hefty necklace symbolized his devotion. Lyle knew Yoonjayam was completely under her spell. Her husband's absence on her birthday ignited Sura's fury. Before dawn, she rushed downstairs, questioning staff about Yoonjayam's whereabouts. He didn't return until noon. The house lay in shambles. Exhausted servants wore expressions of utter despair. Facing her accusations, Yoonjayam lost all patience to explain. "We'll sleep separately," he declared, turning away coldly. Lyle monitored their conversation. The plot unfolded as she'd planned. Abandoned Sura caused more chaos, hysterically smashing the marital bed with a hammer. Though seemingly deranged, she wore protective goggles. Vanity remained ingrained. Lyle became heartbroken Sura's confidant. The oblivious woman lamented her husband's actions. None understood Sura like Lyle did. A pre-made plan was handed to Sura. Heartbreak can be compensated. Lyle comforted her. Sura soon fell into deep sleep. Her tea had been laced with mysterious powder. Lyle descended through familiar corridors, hesitating, then opening a door. Yoonjayam sat gracefully playing piano. Amid melodies, she asked, "What's a tango here called?" "Indoor tango." A passionate indoor tango unfolded. Beneath tenderness, danger approached Runxian. Armed with Lyle's plan, Sura approached her father. The airhead daughter proposed acquiring Ly Plaza, impressing her skeptical father. Disaster struck Runxian. Ly Plaza was his father's crown jewel. His wife's scheming shocked all. Being the housekeeper's son, he lost paternal trust completely. His inheritance rights were revoked. Thus, the feud between dynasties was ignited by Lyle. Beware of friends as much as fire and theft. Sura had completely forgotten this advice. Little did she know on her birthday, her husband Yoonjayam stayed out all night with Lyle. That night, they confided in each other. Sura prepared everything but Yoonjayam never came. Furious Sura trashed their mansion. Her wails echoed through the halls. Most women would hide such shame. But Lyle revealed Yoonjayam's affair to Sura. She even took Sura to investigate at Yoonjayam's office. Sura feared worsening their relationship. Lyle gave her no choice. She made Sura check his suit, where they found shimmering eyeshadow. The harsh truth shattered Sura. In a frenzy, she shoved Lyle into a corner, demanding to know whose makeup it was. Lyle knew nothing of Yoonjayam's secrets, but Sura was beyond reasoning. She threatened Lyle to name someone. As she nearly strangled Lyle, Yoonjayam arrived just in time, pulling Sura away. Sura saw Yoonjayam protect Lyle while ignoring her pain. Sura exploded with rage, smashing vases in fury. Yoonjayam shielded Lyle instinctively, blinded by anger. Sura missed their suspicious dynamic. The glitter on Yoonjayam was planted by Lyle, all part of her scheme. Years ago, Lyle's father possessed corporate secrets. The Chables destroyed him, tortured to death. Lyle barely escaped alive. She fled overseas, with her father's allies' help, planting seeds of vengeance, swearing to reclaim her legacy. Lyle collapsed into Yoonjayam's arms. Unseen in the doorway, stood Lyle's husband Jinwook. Lyle stared defiantly. This confrontation was staged. Drunk Jinwook returned that night, demanding explanations. He bruised Lyle's wrists. Lyle examined her injuries. Confronting Jinwook, "You vowed to die for me. Why betray me now?" Lyle packed to leave. Jinwook begged on his knees. "You helped kill my father. Now you're useless." Jinwook became her first discard. Sura spiraled into madness, blasting heat over 30 degrees Celsius. Yet she shivered uncontrollably, wearing furs in summer. Her hands shook applying makeup, remembering Lyle's words. Yoonjayam's lovers were her rivals. Sura confronted them furiously, seeing identical eyeshadow, matching the suit's glitter. Before attacking, Sura's mind fractured, her body seized with tremors. She retreated silently. Returning home, Lyle called again. Yoonjayam bought her a sports car. Sura stormed there with guards, ordering her car to ram it. Sura emerged like a fury, but inside sat a male stranger. Sirens wailed. Sura realized the trap. A hit-and-run scandal would ruin her. "Run!" she screamed, then dashed into the distance. Lyle wears an emerald green dress, adorned with a 5-pound diamond necklace. She makes her entrance at the elite gala, under the crowd's watchful eyes. She strides boldly towards Sura. This time Lyle drops all pretenses, confronting Sura outright, revealing her months-long affair with Yoonjayam. Sura eyes the extravagant necklace, clearly Yoonjayam's lavish gift. Yoonjayam watches from afar, his gaze locked on Lyle. Betrayal floods Sura's heart. Her hidden foe fuels pure hatred. Now facing her adversary directly, Sura's composure shatters. Yoonjayam's an irresistible catch, isn't he? As Sura's rage peaks, photographers swarm to capture them. Facing reporters' questions, Lyle links arms with Sura. Sura masks her fury, feigning sisterly affection. Lyle resurfaces after vanishing. Yoonjayam rushes to greet her, but Lyle coldly declares, their affair must end, now that Sura knows everything. Sura observes her husband's betrayal. She wants to tear them apart. Sura vows revenge post-event. Lyle taunts, reflect on why this misfortune found you. Karma for your wicked deeds? Despite the scandal, Sura clings to luxury. From her gilded throne, she sees Yoonjayam's overseas IPO. The news rocks both families. All family assets will flow into Yoonjayam's control, all orchestrated by Lyle. Both plans storm his opposites, with armies of henchmen colliding in the stairwell. Enemies lock eyes with hatred, descending into chaotic brawling. Yoonjayam stands victorious yet alone. Missing his master strategist, Lyle materializes behind him. Her timing remains impeccable, reading his every desire. As they share intimacies, Jinwook confronts them, outraged by his superior's actions, demanding explanations. But Yoonjayam won't relent, all part of Lyle's design, forcing Yoonjayam's final choice, to claim Sura's throne at LY Group. Meanwhile, Sura's downfall begins. Yoonjayam's corporate coup escaped his wife's detection. The patriarch's raid, blocking Sura's escape, wielding a weapon to discipline his failed heiress. Sura's trapped scream echoes. Sura slapped Lyle hard. The ladies were stunned. Lyle seemed a bit upset. Sura slapped her again, hard. Lyle suffered this humiliation. She calmly turned and laughed, a mysterious smile on her lips, indicating the show had just begun. Lyle called Yoonjayam, then hung up immediately. 1, 2, 3. Yoonjayam called back impatiently. Lyle told him she called because she missed him, but hung up, not wanting to bother him. This thoughtful woman drove Yoonjayam crazy. He desperately wanted to see Lyle. After a long wait, Lyle appeared before him. Immediately, Sura received a call, with her and Yoonjayam's sweet voices, directly into Sura's ears. Back home, Lyle's taunts continued. Sura glanced at the sleeping Yoonjayam. She was contemplating murder. She picked up a dagger and crept towards Yoonjayam. Just as she was about to strike, she recalled her father's brutality. She cried for help in the car. Her father married her to Yoonjayam to monitor Yoonjayam's every move and seize all his assets in time. But she was outsmarted by Yoonjayam, and the blame fell on her. Sura remembered years ago, her mother being abused by her father. Poor Sura had to endure it, to get back at them. The next day, Sura boasted to Lyle to apologize to her. Yoonjayam gave her a LY Group director role. She also berated Liar, saying she's just a dog to be abandoned. The hatred made Lyle's heart bleed. But then, her foster mom betrayed her. She was going to tell Yoonjayam Lyle's identity. A confidential file reached Yoonjayam. Just as he was about to open it, a loud voice came from behind him. Counselor Su arrived to defuse the crisis. He told Lyle to call Yoonjayam quickly. Then, using the opportunity, he swapped the file with Lyle's info. Faced with her foster mom's betrayal, Lyle completely lost her mind. But her foster mom said she worried Lyle would fall for Yoonjayam. A lame excuse Liar couldn't believe. She warned her not to ruin her plans again, or she'd pay a terrible price. For revenge, she's embraced hell. Only the last drop of their blood will do. That day, Lyle flaunted a 5-pound diamond necklace before her. When he revealed her husband's secrets, Sura's world came crashing down. If she saw how Lyle treated Yoonjayam, Sura would completely break down. A stack of bills scattered before Yoonjayam, enraging him to cut ties with her. But Lyle didn't care at all. As Yoonjayam tried to leave, Lyle lunged forward and embraced him. Hearing Lyle's honeyed apologies, Yoonjayam's resolve softened instantly. But when he turned to hold her, Lyle shoved him away coldly. Only I can end this, Lyle declared. The mighty Chabelair, treated like a dog. Proud Sura hid in shadows, clawing her arms bloody with rage. Her bodyguard watched with pained concern. He carried her to bed, tending her wounds. She craved revenge against Bo, but feared her abusive father's wrath. Her tyrant father had made her watch as he tortured her mother to death. He'd wed her to Yoonjayam to control him, planning to seize his fortune in time. If her father learned she failed, inhuman torment would follow. Lyle's smug face haunted her thoughts. The vision persisted relentlessly. Lyle burned with vengeance too, dreaming of becoming a demon, wreaking bloody revenge on the tables. Lyle appeared at Sura's gala, in sleek black evening wear. Sura rushed upstairs to investigate, finding empty halls devoid of Lyle. Paranoia consumed Sura completely. Then she spotted Lyle materializing across the room. Rage ignited between the rivals. Sura lunged to attack, but Lyle taunted her with a rose. Sura slapped at the flower, cutting her hand on its thorns. Each confrontation left Sura outmatched by Lyle's cunning. She chased Lyle screaming helplessly. Sura accused Yunjiam of inviting Lyle, ignoring his denials as they fought. She raged about his infidelity, exposing intimate secrets publicly. Horrifyingly, their fight broadcast through the hall speakers. Dead silence fell over the crowd. The captivated guard forgot to cut the feed in time. They emerged to stunned stares. The guard confessed the blunder. Back home, Sura hurled her purse at servants. Another senseless tirade followed. Among scattered items, she found a bug, hidden in Lyle's rose earlier, planted in her bag. Lyle played us both, she told Yunjiam. He dismissed her claims angrily. Maddened, Sura slapped Yunjiam hard, leaving bloody scratches on his face. That slap destroyed her chaebol status. Yunjiam vowed to divorce her. Through the planted listening device, Lyle heard every damning word. Her revenge plan advanced. With graceful dance steps, Lyle sways her slender waist before Sura. Sura asks if she's insane. Lyle responds with utter contempt. Humiliated Sura moves to slap Lyle, but gets shoved away forcefully. The rushing secretary gets slapped too. Sura's bodyguard steps forward, but Lyle barks them to halt. Her top aides can't handle one woman. All three watch Lyle's performance helplessly. In months of meticulous planning, Lyle mastered playing hard to get, effortlessly controlling Yunjiam. Her hatred hides like concealed scars beneath layers of concealer. When Yunjiam fell completely, her revenge scheme activated silently. Liar dresses as Yunjiam's ideal type, reappearing before him deliberately. Yunjiam spares no expense, buying a mansion spanning thousands of SQM. His warning to avoid Sura provokes her. She wants Sura completely removed. When his desire peaks, Lyle coldly walks away. After days of silence, Yunjiam learns Lyle's moving abroad. He frantically seeks her out. His heart breaks when confirmed, begging for serious discussion, but gets flatly rejected. Watching his despair in rearview, Lyle knows she's fully controlled him. A long-planned scandal breaks, thrusting Yunjiam into turmoil. Rumors flood every street and alley. All speculate about the mysterious woman. News soon reaches Sura. Her father rages. Can't control your man? Sura smashes objects in fury. Lyle calls Yunjiam, launching her calculated siege, expressing fear of exposure. Couldn't face her children otherwise. Divorce papers hit the chaebel's doorstep. Seeing son-in-law's determination, Han Banaro arrives with hammer and thugs, screaming at Lyle's residence. Using herself as bait, Lyle completes revenge's first phase, to sever ties with Sura completely. Yunjiam moves his kids to Lyle's home. In this dangerous love game, Lyle finds herself sinking deeper. Yunjiam's love feels frighteningly real. Buy found diamond necklace? Mere appetizer. His love weighs like the necklace, crushing Lyle's conscience. Memories of father's death resurface, flooding her mind relentlessly. Lyle stands paralyzed at the crossroads, driven by supposed love. Yunjiam leads her to church altar, sliding engagement ring on her finger. He vows to live solely for Lyle, passionately asking Lyle if she loves him as deeply. Adoptive mother's warning echoes. Love born from hatred will destroy all they've plotted. Yet love emerges uncontrollably. Genuine affection versus bone-deep hatred wage war in Lyle's mind, collapsing unconscious in his arms. Lyle sauntered with an alluring stride. Relentless, she appeared at Sura's mansion, now claiming status as the lady of the house. She asserted dominance over Sura. Before Sura could react, two guards dragged her out forcibly. South Korea's first lady, humiliated by the rising lion. After seducing Yunjiam as bait, Lyle dropped all pretenses. Clad in an elegant black gown, she arrived at LY Corp headquarters. Yunjiam gave Lyle full control of LY Corp. Lyle proved more than a figurehead. She dazzled with breakthrough tech, unveiling semiconductor tech, decades ahead of competitors. None knew this innovation was her father's life's work, stolen by the Chable who killed him. Now empowered, Lyle began her vengeance. First target, the complicit board member, who'd forced her father's signature on the fatal contract. The thug who tortured her father met brutal retribution. In heels, she slammed the accelerator and ran him over mercilessly. Her father's death flashed before her. Rage consumed Lyle completely. She ground his broken leg into concrete. This was merely her appetizer. As Mansion's new mistress, Lyle raided Yoon-jaeum's vault. There on the shelf lay the blood-stained contract, proof of Han Van-aro's crime. With this evidence, she'd destroy the Chable clan. Yoon-jaeum caught her red-handed. How did you know the vault code? Lyle froze in panic. A child's cry saved her. The girl claimed she'd opened it, but suspicion took root. Yoon-jaeum's doubts grew. Her calculated seduction and his own lust blinded him. Now the trap snapped shut. Exiled Sura investigated, uncovering Lyle's past and her adoptive mother's secrets. The grand scheme emerged. Armed with proof, Sura smiled triumphantly. She'd reclaim her place, presenting Lyle's old photo. Sura exposed her true identity. Yoon-jaeum dismissed her coldly, but Sura saw the seed planted. Distrust now divided them. Lyle opened a door to revenge. She'll sacrifice everything to succeed. With Piazzolla's bandoneon playing, Yoon-jaeum fell for Lyle's trap. Late at night, Yoon-jaeum awoke. Lyle was on the phone with a mystery man. He gave Lyle everything he had, but her actions puzzled Yoon-jaeum more and more. The next day, Yoon-jaeum couldn't resist, and decided to watch her, to find out Lyle's real motive. Just then, Counselor Sue, who loved Lyle, said he'd sacrifice anything for love. But Yoon-jaeum constantly doubted Lyle. Comparison is odious. Yoon-jaeum realized he didn't love Lyle enough. But Sula, knowing Lyle's identity, snapped. Sula stormed into Yoon-jaeum's office. She told Runxian that Lyle was suspicious. But Yoon-jaeum, completely smitten, wouldn't listen to Sula, even though he'd seen Lyle secretly enter his vault. Lyle found the vault code had changed. Just then, Yoon-jaeum called. He deliberately told her the code. Doubting Lyle made him lose to his rival. He'd give Lyle everything unconditionally. Lyle found the blood-stained agreement. It proved the conglomerate killed her dad and stole their assets. Lyle, with a worried heart, thought her plan was exposed. But Yoon-jaeum, blinded by love, transferred all his assets to Lyle. Could she accept this love? Back home, Lyle found her foster mom gone. Lyle thought of Sula's knowing look. She knew Sula was behind her mom's disappearance. A confident Sula was shopping. Lyle walked in, expressionless. Lyle sat down and talked to Sula. She had the evidence to take down the conglomerate. If Sula released her foster mom, she'd leave Yoon-jaeum. How could Sula refuse such a tempting offer? But the room was empty when she arrived. Her foster mom's daughter was killed years ago. For revenge, she adopted Lyle and planned this revenge. Lyle couldn't let go of Yoon-jaeum. The foster mom acted alone. This alarmed Han Van-aro. Learning her mom was held by Sula, he moved her to the tunnels. With her last bit of strength, Mom turned on the tracker. Lyle's phone beeped with a faint signal. She rushed to find her mom's location, but there was a noise outside. When she went to check, Yoon-jaeum found Lyle's secret room. Dozens of cameras watched his house. A family network was on the wall. Each family member was a target of Lyle's revenge. Yoon-jaeum remembered Lyle approaching him. He realized Lyle's motive, to destroy his whole family. When Sura loses her temper, she slaps whoever she wants. Her husband ignored her advice and got slapped. Confronting Lyle's ambiguous relationship with her husband, she resorted to slapping again. But violence solves nothing. In the bedroom, she slapped her personal bodyguard. She forced him to reveal Lyle's adoptive mother's whereabouts, only by handing over the adoptive mother. Would Lyle agree to leave her husband? The guard reluctantly led Sura to a secret room. Sura pushed open the secret room door with all her might. They stealthily carried out the adoptive mother, but they ran into her father after just a few steps. Desperate to save her marriage, Sura begged her father to let him go. This was suicidal. If Lyle and her adoptive mother's revenge succeeds, Han Van-aro will spend his remaining years in prison. The fleeing adoptive mother enraged Han Banaro completely. He grabbed a brick and hurled it. Blood splattered across Sura's face. Seeing herself covered in blood, Sura trembled in terror. Lyle's adoptive mother was brutally murdered before their eyes. Counselor Su arrived at the Chable mansion searching for her. Han Banaro ordered his men to clean up the scene. Sura was locked in the basement with the corpse. Counselor Su's team searched the mansion thoroughly. Nothing suspicious was found. He had to leave with his team. Sura's desperate bid to save her marriage backfired. Her father blamed everything on her. He beat her mercilessly with a thick club. Finally, he heartlessly locked her in the secret room. Sura's terrified screams echoed in the darkness. Yoonjayam's devotion to Lyre brought no love, only evidence of her plot to destroy him. The walls were covered with his family's connections. Every family member had become Lyle's target for revenge. Memories of Lyle approaching him flooded back. Now Yoonjayam understood her true motives. She aimed to destroy their entire family. He gave Lyle everything, only to receive cold betrayal in return. Heartbroken, Yoonjayam grabbed Lyle and screamed hysterically. Terrified, Lyle tried to flee, but Yoonjayam shoved her to the ground. Watching Lyle moan in pain on the floor, Yoonjayam was consumed by guilt. Seizing her chance, Lyle cut the power and escaped the secret room. She knocked out the pursuing Yoonjayam with a club. Days later, Lyle received news. Her adoptive mother's body was found by the river. In the cold morgue, Lyle saw her mother's body again. The scene mirrored what happened when her father was killed by the Chable family years ago. While sorting her mother's belongings, Lyle found a voice recorder in her pocket. The full truth of the Chable's crimes was revealed. The recording also contained evidence of Sura killing Lyle's biological mother. Yoonjayam crashed the funeral. Lyle played the damning recording publicly. Yoonjayam remembered his wedding night years ago, when his wife secretly murdered a woman. That woman was Lyle's mother. Though he didn't do it himself, he was deeply implicated. He had no way to atone for Lyle's suffering. Lyle launched her frenzied quest for vengeance. Her first target, the Chable's lackey who tortured her father. The man's location locked. Lyle floored the accelerator. Tires screeched as she aimed directly at her prey. The crushing wheels mirrored her merciless resolve. Her father's coerced suicide flashed before her eyes. White-hot rage consumed Lyle completely. Lyle stomped on the man's shattered leg, grinding him into the pavement. This was merely the appetizer of her revenge feast. Yoonjayam knelt before Lyle, begging forgiveness. He pleaded for her to end this quickly. Lyle matched his kneeling posture with icy precision. You think patricide and matricide can be forgiven? I'll watch your entire family fall, crushed beneath my heels. Lyle hurled Yoonjayam's engagement ring into the bowl. The discarded pawn stared at his empty hands. At the elevator, Lyle spotted Sura's reflection, the architect of her mother's murder. Ceramic shards exploded as Lyle smashed a vase. She seized a jagged fragment. Sura must pay in blood. Sura whispered promises of victory to Yoonjayam. I eliminated your mother and seized your fortune, all to claim Yoonjayam. Confronting Sura's madness, Yoonjayam's heart turned to ash. His only thought, atonement. Lyle witnessed the scene as she charged forward. Hearing Yoonjayam's desperate confessions, her grip on the weapon faltered. Counselor Su dressed Lyle's wounds, urging focus. Don't waver. Not one of them is innocent. Every enemy deserves destruction. Through her mother's journals, Yoonjayam uncovered the full truth. Sula's family had orchestrated the tragedy. After her father's persecution, her mother stood defenseless. Yoonjayam recalled the grieving widow protesting at HQ to bury the evidence. Sura ordered the final silencing. Young Lyle's psyche shattered completely. Only your family's extinction will quench this hatred. Days later, at a press conference, Yoonjayam exposed the LY Group takeover and his father-in-law's fatal torture. Han Banaro faced immediate public outrage. To evade responsibility, he scapegoated his own daughter, betrayed by her father. Sura stormed home furious. Confrontation loomed. Lyle fed Han intel about Sura's secret bunker, framed the real killer. Her poison turned father against daughter. Han swung a sledgehammer at Sura. Death inches away. Her bodyguard intervened. You forced this retaliation. Sura and her protector imprisoned Han in his own dungeon. A blade pierced Yoonjayam's heart. Lyle screamed forth through the night. The nightmare jolted Lyle awake, frantically dialing Yoonjayam. But her accomplice had vanished, gone without a trace. His vow echoed, my life for yours. If you'll accept it, this death settles all debts. Sura armed for mortal combat. War paint masked her face, shotgun loaded, sanity abandoned. Madness gleamed in Sura's eyes. Gold bars fought a limping assassin. Two mad dogs hunting their prey. Love stayed Lyle's hand. Yoonjayam's desperate devotion melted her hatred. Lovers reunited in desperate embrace. A child's scream crackled through the foam. Yoonjayam raced into the moonlit garden. This was Sura's diversion tactic all along. Lyle stood alone in the empty hall. The man Lyle had crippled slipped in under cover of darkness. A brutal fight erupted between them. Though Lyle initially had the upper hand, her physical disadvantage showed. One critical mistake left her throat in his crushing grip. Yoonjayam realized he'd been tricked. Lyle was fading fast when he returned. Yoonjayam knocked the attacker down. Blinded by rage, he strangled the man. To his horror, the man died in his hands. The irreversible mistake was made. Yoonjayam resolved to surrender. Lyle gazed at her devoted protector. She tried to take the blame for him, but collapsed in his arms suddenly. Unknown to them, the water she drank had been laced with sedatives. Sura witnessed the entire tragedy. She saw Yoonjayam's devotion to Lyle, fueling her burning hatred further. The unconscious Lyle was silently loaded into Sura's car. The car's jostling gradually roused Lyle. A desperate struggle over the wheel began. A blade sank into Lyle's abdomen. Sura tried to finish her off, but Lyle provoked her with Yoonjayam's name. As death closed in on Lyle, Yoonjayam arrived just in time. After saving Lyle, he entered the vehicle, cast one longing look at Lyle, resolved to end this permanently. To settle Lyle's feud with the Chables, he slammed the accelerator, careening off the highway with Sura. Days later, Lyle found disfigured Sura in asylum. She delivered news of Yoonjayam's death. Sura's mind finally shattered. In Dark Cellar, Han Ban-aro had been imprisoned for weeks. The nation's PM fell to his own daughter, using herself as final bait. After securing Yoonjayam's aid, she completed her earth-shattering revenge.